This is how Robert Rodriguez said F you to Hollywood. So it's the early 2000s and Robert Rodriguez is thumbing through Frank Miller's gritty Sin City graphic novels, and he's getting inspired. Robert Rodriguez had a vision, and that was to translate Miller's exact comic panels to the screen, not squeeze this into a movie, but to turn movies into the book. In other words, he was trying to make a living graphic novel. Now, Frank Miller, the creator of Sin City, is notoriously protective. For years, Hollywood has been going, "Hey Frank, we'd really love the film rights to your graphic novel. Do you mind selling it to us?" And Frank was like, "Hell no, you dirty cockroaches."
Oh, hell no.
As Miller later put it, once you get used to saying no, it gets easy. I said no to Hollywood all the way. Now there was one person Frank Miller could not say no to, and that was Robert Rodriguez. And that's when Rodriguez says, "Frank, there's no script. We're gonna shoot right out of the book." So Rodriguez doubles down and says, "In order to prove my vision to you, I'll film an example of Sin City at my own expense." And that's exactly what he does. He finances this demo scene himself, effectively taking no payment and even spending his own money just to convince Miller. That's how dedicated Rodriguez is. In Frank Miller's own words, he says, "I was smitten. All that Hollywood skepticism melts away, and Rodriguez has now proven that he will not compromise the soul of Sin City." After all of this convincing, Frank Miller says yes. And now for Rodriguez, this is a no-brainer. It was like obey the rules or make this movie, he says. So guess what he chooses? Rodriguez goes, "Well, if you won't let me make this movie, then I quit the DGA." So Rodriguez basically tells the guild, "See ya, I'm out." Frank's name is staying on this project. But for Rodriguez, it doesn't matter. In fact, the only thing he's thinking about is making the movie Sin City. Now by this point, you're probably thinking, Rodriguez is making a lot of sacrifices here. He's spending his own money on test footage, he's giving up a guild membership, which can impact future earnings. But further, to show how dedicated he was to this film, he chose not to take a typical director's salary for Sin City. Now anybody that knows Rodriguez knows this is not off-brand, because the man has one famous philosophy: don't give me any money, don't give me any people, but give freedom and I'll make you a movie that looks gigantic. In other words, he's not motivated by a fat paycheck. He thrives on creative control. He proved his point that sometimes, if you put art before the money takes care of itself anyway. So in the end, Rodriguez played by his own rules, took his shot, and hit the mark without selling out. That's more than what can be said for most directors.